Today's Career and Lifelong Learning webinar hosted by the Georgetown University Alumni Association. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us for this session, Marketing and SEO That Works, a Simple Strategy for Real Growth, presented by Lauren Spagnoletti, College Class of 2002. I'm Kelly Young, Senior Director of Career and Lifelong Learning, and I'll be facilitating today's session. As a reminder, you may use the questions section of your GoToWebinar control panel to submit questions throughout the session. Now to our presenter. Lauren Spagnoletti thrives on solving marketing puzzles. From crafting captivating messaging to analyzing data, she is a results-driven MBA with a love of the analytical, tactical, and creative sides of marketing. After graduating from Georgetown, Lauren dove headfirst into the entertainment industry as an actress and producer in New York and LA for nearly a decade. Tired of the grind, she returned to New York to earn her MBA from Fordham University's Gabelli School of Business. In addition to leading accounts at an ad agency, she has led marketing efforts for startups, major universities, family-owned businesses, international clientele, and everything in between. Lauren firmly believes that if you can't measure it, it's not worth your time. She is excited to share what she has learned from her years of experience with you. She wants to take the mystery out of SEO and digital marketing and give you the momentum you need to succeed. Without further ado, I'm pleased to turn things over to Lauren.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you everyone for being here today. Okay, so we'll dive in. I want to talk about something that I see all the time with entrepreneurs and small business owners. You've got this great product, you've got drive, obviously you're an entrepreneur. Maybe you have a website, hopefully you have Instagram, but you're stuck in the guesswork when it comes to marketing. And that's what we're here to fix or start to fix today. So as Kelly said, I'm Lauren Spagnoletti, and I help small businesses tackle their marketing so that they can see real results. Okay, so you started the business, you're working hard, you're probably wearing several hats, you're doing all the things. But when it comes to marketing, are you just winging it? Are you throwing things against the wall, hoping to see something stick? If not, you are absolutely not alone in that. So here are some real stats and patterns that I see over and over again. People are doing the work, but they don't have a plan. You might post on social media, but you get no traction. Maybe you're even looking to social media as a sales tactic. And spoiler alert, social media should not be used as a sales tactic. We'll talk about that later. It's an awareness tactic. You might have a site up, but no one is buying. So what's the problem? You feel like you're doing everything right. It's not about your effort. It's about your strategy. And without a marketing strategy laying the foundation for all of those tactics, you're not going to see the needle move at all. And this is where so many founders get stuck. They think that they need to do more posts, more emails, more ads, but more doesn't always, it never leads to strategy. So these are the 5 things that I work on with my clients. And before they work with me, most people are only solid on maybe 1 or 2 of these. Everybody else, they're either unclear or totally missing some of the other ones. So that's where the missed revenue is hiding. Now, these topics make up the 5 modules in my marketing bootcamp. So I'll go through each of them. Let's start with the marketing funnel. So are you talking to people that don't even know that you exist? That's the big question when you start out. Making the marketing funnel work for you is essential if you want to ensure incremental sales. It's not as overwhelming and annoying to understand as you might think. The funnel is valuable for a lot of reasons. It helps us understand our customer behavior, helps us adjust our targeted messaging. It helps us optimize our initiatives by analyzing data at each stage. And it helps us build loyalty and relationships with our audience, which is very important. So by focusing on different stages of the funnel, you can be focused on different marketing activities and understand what kind of an impact that they're going to have. This is why having a strategy is so helpful and so much more effective than just trying some things and hoping that they work. Now, before we can really talk about messaging on our website, in our ads or emails or social media, we need to take a step back. One of the most important things that you can do as a business owner is to identify your audience. That's the people who will be using your products or services. In marketing, we say that if you're talking to everyone, you are talking to no one. Now, it wouldn't be smart to just say, oh, well, I want to market our products to anyone who will buy them, because then your entire approach will be diluted. When you know your audience, you can tailor your messaging to them. You can create relevant content for them. You can prioritize the customer experience, because remember, you don't just want to sell to your potential clients. You want to develop a relationship with them and foster a sense of loyalty. You need to know who they are so that you can create experiences that they can relate to and interact with. And then they come back again and again. And then also you do it for product development. If you know who they are, you can make more products that they're going to like and that they're going to need. Okay, now that we know who we're talking to, we can get our messaging right. A company's messaging must act as the foundation for all of its marketing campaigns. Your messaging will directly shape your audience's perception of your brand, and it will influence their behavior. So in short, messaging is just your brand's point of view. But you have to ask yourself a few questions. What problem are you solving, or pain point are you addressing with your target audience? And maybe more importantly, how are you doing it differently from your competitors? What makes you different? So that leads us to your UVP. What is your unique value proposition? That's what you want to answer in your messaging. Okay, now the big one, and we're going to spend some time on this, SEO. Especially now, right now in the age of AI, a lot of people are talking about SEO. So you've probably heard a lot about it. Maybe you don't know what it is or why it's important. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. It's essentially how visible your site is when people search for you organically. When we say organic searches, we mean people typing queries into Google or Bing and seeing what comes up that are not advertisements. So by optimizing your SEO, you can improve your ranking or where you land in the search results, and you can build domain authority and begin to drive traffic to your website. And yes, SEO is still extremely important, even with AI in the mix. Okay, here's an example. In this image, this is a screenshot from Google. You can see the sponsored results at the top. Those are ads, and those are companies that have paid for those spots. They will always show up first. And then below them, you can see there are two organic results. One is food and wine, cut off a little bit, but the top one is Uni Pizza. Uni has the #1 spot, okay, when we searched for pizza oven in a Google search. Now, when your product or your business shows up in the SERP is search engine results page, organically, that means that you are ranking. Ideally, you want to rank on the first page of results for Google because very few people continue to page 2 to find what they're looking for. And these days, even better, we want to try to get into that AI summary if possible if we want to be really competitive. Now, SEO is a long game. It is not something you can change overnight, but it is important. Basically, how it works is you have to teach Google that your website has what people are looking for when they type in certain keywords or terms. So I'll sum it up a different way. So let's say you sell shoes and people type in shoes, they find you, they click on you. That tells Google, oh, that website is the answer for shoes when people look for it. And so maybe they bump you up a little bit. And then the next person types in shoes, they click on it, and on your site, so your audience is constantly teaching Google that you have the answer that they want when shoes is searched for. That's the very basic way of explaining it. Okay, so how do we improve our SEO? There's a few ways that work together. One, you want to create high quality, authoritative content that provides value. That's the key to users. In short, you can't just keyword stuff a page. Google is smarter than that. You want to update your website with new content relatively often. Usually I recommend every 2 weeks or so. You want to leverage links. That's intra-site links. So your page is linking to other pages on your site. External site links, you linking to other sites, and then backlinks, which can be harder to get, but having other websites link back to you. And you want to continually audit and optimize your site as time goes on. Now, Google has made it very clear that it rewards helpful and high quality content with improved rankings. So while creating this type of content was always important, we know that doing so is actually going to result in a better rank. And as for AI, it crawls the sites to find the content that it uses for those AI summaries. So if you want to be included as a linked source at the top, optimizing your content is more important than ever. And that includes a few things, but especially FAQs on your site that they help a lot with the AI search. And also topical clusters that show authority on different themes. We'll get into that a little bit. Okay, let's dive into the real work. That's keyword research. When it comes to optimizing your SEO, you have to know what your business does. Okay, you know what you do, but how would a random person searching on Google look for what you do? That's the question. We're going to use this fictional company I made up called Happy Tales. Happy Tales Pet is our example. Now they sell, you guessed it, pet supplies. They do not sell pet food, okay? First, we need to identify relevant keywords or phrases that Happy Tales target audience might look for, okay? Here's a list that the owner gave us. They have dog beds, cat beds, they have chew toys, rug cleaner, pet shampoo, all the things you might need if you own a pet. Okay, here's where the work comes in. Ideally, you're going to leverage an SEO tool for this next step. For this particular one, I used Google Keyword Planner, but I usually use SEMrush for all of my SEO research. It's SEMrush.com. So first you put in keywords that you think people would use to find your products and services that you provide. And you feel free to use as many as you can think of at first. Just dump them in there, okay? And then you want to determine the search volume for those keywords. So if you look at this screenshot, a little hard to see, but if you look, you'll see that catnip has an average search volume of 110,000 searches per month, okay? And people search for dog beds on average 165,000 times per month. Now this tells us that optimizing for those keywords and others with high search volumes might be helpful since people are actively looking for them, okay? Now, we can totally optimize for keywords like pet nail clippers and pet brushes, but we might not want to put as much focus on those since their search volumes are much lower. So basically, if people aren't searching for it, they're not going to find you. So if you put words on your site that people aren't looking for, Google will not make the connection. Other things to consider when looking at a report like this is the 3-month change, which can give you some insight into seasonality, and competition to show you how hard it might be to capture the attention of your audience. So if a word has a high search volume, chances are it has a high keyword difficulty, which means it'll be harder to break into that. So typically with an SEO strategy, we'll pepper in some really hard words, but we'll also keep some lower difficulty words in there too to give your site a chance. So now the pet market is a huge one. So Happy Tales definitely has its work cut out for it. Okay, now that Happy Tales has an idea of what their target keywords should be, and that people are actually searching for them, we can begin by creating and optimizing content for their website to begin to drive traffic based on organic searches. Okay, so they want to rank as high in the SERP as possible, which is why they're optimizing in the first place. They want to be on page 1. Now, the owner of, yes.
One question just came in,
sure.
Asking if you can explain where to find this search data.
Meaning the keyword, like the keyword volume and stuff like that?
Like the results that you were just sharing in terms of performance, how do people access that?
Like this? I just want to make sure I'm answering the right question.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I used Google Keyword Planner for this, but I recommend and prefer SEMrush, which is an SEO tool. But there are more than that. There's SEMrush, SEMrush.com. You can actually do some work with the free version. So you can get a fair bit done with the free version, but then there's better versions of it that are paid. But then there's also Neil Patel is another site that you can check out that does the same thing. It's all SEO research, neilpatel.com. Those are the big ones. So people are usually using one of those, but I love SEMrush. But you can check out Google Keyword Planner and you might be able to have some luck in there with that. Does that help?
Great, thank you.
Sure. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so the owner of Happy Tales needs to work closely with her web developer to make sure that the heading tags, that's the H1 and the H2s, on her website are incorporating the most important relevant keywords. One thing to note that I realize most people don't know, and I've done audits on sites and it's like, this is not supposed to be like this. There should only be one H1 on every page. Otherwise, it's going to confuse Google. One H1 on every page, and then if you have other like subheads, those are H2s. Google will crawl H1s and H2s. Also, you want to incorporate your relevant keywords into the slug or the URL. And then also, very importantly, the meta titles and meta descriptions on the back end. So that those are all things that a web developer can easily handle on any web platform. Okay. Now, as I mentioned earlier, creating high quality, relevant, and valuable content for users increases the likelihood that Google will rank your site higher. That means the pages of your website should be helpful. Now consider this header for Happy Tales homepage. So pet supplies for cats, dogs, and all your furry pets. And then we have our H2, dog beds, catnip, collars, and treats. We have anything your pet might need. These headers incorporate relevant keywords, and they tell Google that someone searching for any of those items are going to find what they need if they click on Happy Tales website in the results. Okay, now let's talk about blogs and FAQs a little bit. So they are extremely important for SEO. This is when you get a chance to write more of that keyword-rich, high-quality content. Okay, so remember a few minutes ago I mentioned the need for topical content to show authority on themes. What that means is you'll want to think about what people are searching for. So a blog title for Happy Tales might be why catnip is good for cats, or what dog toys are best for mental stimulation. In these examples, you're leveraging high volume keywords and questions, and you're creating content that AI can crawl when providing results to people searching. So I also recommend, if you're building your FAQs, make them questions that people will be asking. It might be putting into Google. You want that question is, Google found that exact question on my website, and it gives my website as the #1 response to it. That's how it's not tricking the system, it's how the system works. That's how it works. Okay, enough about SEO for now. Let's talk social media for a minute. I want you to say it with me. Social media is not a sales tactic. It is an awareness level tactic. It is important, but it's not for sales. Can it lead to sales? Absolutely, but it's not the main point of it. It's for brand awareness. It's for audience engagement. It's for building trust, community, customer service, customer acquisition. It's for keeping your company, your product top of mind. It's to help drive traffic to your website. It's great for sharing news. So in the social media module of the bootcamp, we cover how to make your social media work for you, which includes focusing a lot on content that educates and entertains mostly, and then much less on selling. Okay, so imagine a leaky funnel. These stand for, by the way, the top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, okay? You're pouring in time and effort, maybe money into marketing, but if your funnel has holes, you're going to lose people at every stage. So that's awareness without anybody taking action. People might have interest, but they won't follow through. And that's why I built Marketing Momentum Business Marketing Bootcamp, so that you can stop guessing on what you're missing and actually start putting effort to where it matters. The bootcamp, it's a structured, strategic way to build your marketing foundation. It's not just theory, it's real frameworks that you can apply to your business right from the start. And by the way, if you're here because you're relatively new to the marketing industry, I've actually created a version of this bootcamp that's for you. Because the reality is you will not learn the ins and outs of day-to-day marketing in business school. You have no choice but to learn it on the job. So my bootcamp for early career marketers gives you a big jump start on what you need to know in order to market for your clients. But the original, the Marketing Momentum Bootcamp, was built for business owners. Each of the 5 modules is focused and practical. You'll walk away with real assets. You'll have your funnel mapped, your audience defined, your message sharpened, and your marketing will finally be able to do some heavy lifting. The best part about it is that you can do it on your own time. So even if you're chipping away at marketing at 9 o'clock every night, you can do this in bite-sized pieces. And then when you're finished, you can schedule an hour consulting call with me to ask any questions that you might have and also review ideas on what your strategy is. So I got really tired of seeing smart entrepreneurs burn out, trying to figure it out all alone. This has helped a lot of people in your position. In fact, I've had a few Georgetown alumni go through the boot camp, and this is what they had to say about it. Actually, I still work with Lauren Townsend of Millie's. We'll have a call later today. So if any of this hit home and you're ready to stop winging it, especially in this economy, this is your next step. So you can find the boot camp at littlemenroaring.com/Georgetown. Little Men Roaring is the company that I have, my marketing company with my husband. So you can, so if you go to littlemenroaring.com/Georgetown, you will be able to access the boot camps that I mentioned. And this will be in a follow-up email, I believe, in the next day or two. Also, if you have questions, if you don't want to DIY your SEO and you want me to do an SEO deep dive, just shoot me an email, lauren@littlemenroaring.com. Also, I talk a lot about small business marketing on socials, on LinkedIn and on Instagram. So feel free to find me on one of those places. I'm always talking about SEO and websites and digital advertisements and things like that. So you'll be able to learn a lot if you follow any of those. Okay, Kelly, do we have any questions?
Yes, and just as a reminder, you can use the question section of your webinar control panel to share any questions that you have. So one question we just received was, can you explain a bit more about how AI has impacted SEO and how to think about it?
Yeah, so I did touch on this. Basically, okay, before the AI summary showed up in Google and Bing, when people would search for something, Google would crawl the internet and would pull back, like I said earlier in the presentation, several websites that answered the question, right? That were ranked 1 through 1 million on all the pages. Once AI got involved, let me back up. And so as somebody who's searching on Google, I'd do a search, I'd have those organic results there, and I would click on one to get the answer I was looking for, right? When I would click on it, that is traffic to that business's website. And that was great for that business. They want eyeballs on their website, right? When the AI summary got involved, it started answering the questions for people without them needing to click through. So it messed up a lot of businesses, a lot of websites, because all of a sudden Google was just sharing the information that it found on their websites without needing people to click through to them, right? So we've kind of had to trick. It's a new world right now. I was about to say trick the system, but it's a new world. We need to adjust how we do everything to work with what we've got. So right now, if you were to Google something, you'll have the AI summary, and then below that, you're still going to have those organic rankings. People will still click through. Okay, so you still need SEO for that, if anything. Your website will show up. You'll be able to drive traffic to your website because somebody Googled, they saw your website, they clicked, now they're on your website. However, not as many people are doing that as they used to because they're getting what they want in the AI summary. But right now in the AI summary, not only does it summarize, but it also gives the couple of sources that it used to pull those answers in. That's the magic. You want to end up there because people are more likely to click into your website if you're included in the AI summary. Is it difficult? Yes, but I've had a client that I worked with recently. She emailed me. She's an alum also. She emailed me and she said, we're in the AI summary. I want to refresh my SEO to make sure we stay there. So it is possible. You just need to be more focused in your SEO. You want to make sure that you're including those FAQs, and that there's something called schema markup. It's a piece of code that you put on the back of your website that says, Google, here are FAQs. This is where you're going to find your answer. It kind of directs Google's attention to that. So there's tricks to helping you show up in that AI summary. It's not impossible, but it is more work, I'd say.
So I think drawing on that, another question that just came in is how are blog posts and FAQs evolving or changing given the change with AI?
Yeah, so all still important. What we want to do though with those, as I mentioned earlier, is making sure that we are addressing questions that people are really going to have. When you do keyword research in SEMrush or any of the tools that you might choose to use for this, a lot of them now have question research as an option as well. So for Happy Tales Pet Supplies, you're not just looking for how does a dog bed and catnip rank. You might be looking for can catnip harm my cat? Maybe that's a question that is asked a lot. And if it is, you want that on your website, either in the form of a blog, so it's going to show up as your blog title or a blog header within the blog, or it's an FAQ, or both. So you're incorporating more of how people search rather than just keywords.
Great. So another question that came in, this is a pretty specific one, but I am an educator shifting to running an online company to run group classes for middle school students. Because services are for students, but parents are the ones buying, what would you recommend as a marketing strategy?
Okay, yeah, so it is specific, and I would probably have to look at it in a little more depth, but off the bat, market to the parents. They're the ones who are doing the research. So what are the parents looking for? How are they trying to find you? It's maybe it's I'm not saying it's tutoring, but let's call it tutoring. Tutoring for middle schoolers, or math tutoring for seventh graders, or whatever it may be. Think about how the parents are going to be looking for it, and not the students. They're not your buyer, right? They're your end user. But if you want to email me, you can.
I think that was a great 10-second answer. Any other questions, just feel free to submit them in the chat. A few notes of thanks coming through, Lauren.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Hopefully I took some of the mystery out of it. I know we only touched the tip of the iceberg, but it's a complicated thing that all websites should have if you want people to show up on your site without needing ads. It should be what I always say is, when you're designing a new website, when you're creating your new business's website, your website is not done until it's SEO optimized. It can look great. It can have great user experience. It can be easy to navigate. It can have your messaging all well and good, like we talked about earlier. It has your unique value proposition front and center. People know who that you're talking to them. But if they can't find it when they Google it, I mean, it's hidden. So there's no, it's not as good as it could be.
All right, well, this has all been great advice. I think at this point we can close out, and we'll be sure to share the follow-up email with the recording of today's session and how to get in touch with Lauren. Lauren, thank you for taking the time to share your insight and expertise with our alumni community. To everyone on the line today, thank you all for joining. Hoya Saxa, and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.